Merry meet Cancer. Cancer's sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. This is a 2-week reading for all Cancers starting today, the 6th of February, 2025. This is Ariel Gatoga, and today I am reading with the Old English Tarot, and I've already purified with this Eau de Cologne by Guerlain. I've put links in the video description to purchase each of these products, but just so you know, this perfume is rather expensive, and there's no need to spend a lot of money on purification perfumes. You can do just fine with something like 4711 or Florida Water. But if you want something real pretty and nice and you don't mind spending money, I did put the link in there for you. And let's see what's in the cards for all you gorgeous Cancers. We start with the Four of Cups, followed by the Hanged Man, and then the Magician card. Okay, so the Four of Cups is you having a regular daily spiritual practice. And if you don't have one already, it's encouraging you to do something, to have a systematic way of connecting with your spirit every day. So it can be a meditation practice, a magic practice, a grounding and centering, a lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, whatever your thing is, but something that you do every day. It doesn't have to be a long thing. It doesn't have to last a long time. And it's something that can change over time also. But for now, finding something or if you already have found something and actually doing it every day consistently for the next couple of weeks is really going to be helpful for you. And that's what this is. This is encouraging right away. Don't delay, it's saying. The Hanged Man is the sense that many of you are feeling like you have no power, like you can't control your own life, and that things are out of control, and that you're just like a sitting duck. That's the feeling here with this Hanged Man. I mean, well, look at him. What's he gonna do? He can't. He's just tied up, and that's just a horrible feeling. And what happens when we feel that way is we really believe that that's the way it is, and it starts to compound on itself. And I'll finish with this base reading, and then I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. The way that you're trying to respond to that is understandable, Cancer, and that is trying to manage people's perception of you, trying to make people be nice to you, or at least somehow manipulate the situation in your favor. And the Magician card is not like in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck where he's some sort of magical adept. This is a huckster trying to fool people with playing the shell game or whatever his other little games are. And everybody thinks that they can beat him, and he's kind of cheats all the time, and so he just takes their money. And that's what he thinks he has to do in order to survive, to get his needs met, is to be dishonest or inauthentic. And so for many of us, when we get the Magician's card, it's not that we're trying to steal money from people, but it is the feeling that if we were authentically ourselves, we wouldn't be safe. And so we have to put some sort of facade on in order to get our needs met. And between that and the Hanged Man here, well, actually, I think this is a response to the Hanged Man. The reason why those of you that are doing this is because you don't feel like there's any other possible way for you to take care of yourself, because you are feeling like you're being hung out to dry. And so it's a horrible feeling when you feel that way. But well, for one thing, we have 3 more cards to come, and I know they're going to give you a lot of good news. But before we get to those, I just want you to know that this Hanged Man card is always a call from the angelic realms to rethink things. It's the angels, if you don't like angels and the gods, whatever your thing is, your spirit guides, whatever, are calling out to you to look at things right side up, because you're seeing the world upside down. And when you can see that you're not really in the spot that you thought you were, but you are really standing upright, not upside down, what you need to do is put your foot down and say no. That's what you have to do. Not try to get people to like you, not try to get people to act a certain way, not try to protect yourself necessarily, but to say no when you mean no. You can say yes when you mean yes, but say no when you mean no. And stand up for yourself. And when you do that, you will no longer feel the need for all of this kowtowing to other people. Other people's power over you starts to diminish the second you put your foot down and say no, even if it's only an internal saying no, even if you haven't yet, or even if it's not appropriate to say no out loud to somebody, because sometimes it's not. Like in a boss situation, you can't just say, no, I'm not doing that. But you can internally say, no, I will not be treated this way, and put your foot down. And that inner knowing that you're not going to put up with it creates a ripple effect. All right, so let me just shuffle and cut real quick. I could have been doing this and saving some time, but I didn't. And I want to open this up because I have a feeling there's some really good news for you here. The Fool, good. I like the Fool. The King of Wands is excellent. And the Moon card. Okay, so let's start with this Moon card on top of the Magician. The reason why sometimes you feel like you have to do whatever you have to do in order to get your needs met, and that you aren't safe being yourself, you aren't safe letting people see the real you, is because you're caught up in other people's illusions. And when you realize that you don't have to swallow other people's illusions, you don't have to believe what other people say. You don't have to believe what anybody says, in fact. What matters is your own inner guidance and your own ability to say, no, I'm going to keep this turned upside down, just to remind you, it's time to put your foot down here, Cancer. Because what happens with this, you want to eschew and get rid of all belief systems that you're swallowing of other people, listening to other people's opinions about what's going on, what's going to happen, who you are in relationship to the world, whatever all that stuff is. You need to just say no internally to that, because we don't want those thoughts getting on the back of this crawfish who eventually is going to make it onto dry land and become a manifestation. What we want to make onto the land as a manifestation is what you want. What you want. Fancy that, Cancer. What do you want? You get to choose. You get to choose. It doesn't seem like it out there in the world, but you do. And you know why it's so important is because you have so much power that you aren't looking at, that you aren't acknowledging right now, right in the moment. Power to create. This is a very creative card, this King of Wands. It's a masterful card. And it's a part of you that you are not recognizing because you're just trying to get your needs met. And you don't need to go outside of yourself to get your needs met. You've got everything within you that you need to create whatever you want. And in a masterful way. In a masterful way. So let this King of Wands, that part of you that's very creative, that knows what it wants, that doesn't really care what other people want, but just cares what they want. That's a positive thing. It's positive. Let that part of your mind be what goes on the back of that crawfish to get manifest, not what other people say, not what other people are doing. So yes, sometimes it looks like you don't have power. I understand that. Sometimes it seems that way. But internally, you have to say no. You have to put your foot down in those moments and say, that's not true. I have power. I am the King of Wands. I can come up with anything I want. And I can create any kind of life I want, no matter what anybody around me is doing, no matter what anybody around me is saying, no matter what the political environment is, no matter any of it. It doesn't matter. I have that power and I'm going to use it, but I can't use it until I put my foot down and say no. Say no to myself, say no to other people, and say no to this magician. You don't need people to like you. You don't need people to agree with you. Now that doesn't mean that you should be disagreeable. That's not, you could be kind, of course you can, but you don't have to make sure everybody's liking you. the reason why a lot of us do that, especially with this Hanged Man card, is because if people like you, they're less apt to hurt you. Right? So we learn that at very young ages, especially those of us who came from any kind of abuse in our childhood. Oh, if I can just be nice and really sweet and make sure everybody likes me, then I won't be, nobody will hit me maybe. If I can just, I can make sure everybody's laughing all the time, whatever your thing is. And just notice that. Just say, but I'm not a child now. I'm an adult now. No, I'm not doing that anymore. It doesn't matter if people like me. It doesn't matter if people laugh or if people are happy. That's their job to fix, not mine. My job is to get what I want. And that might seem selfish, but it's not. It's what the universe wants for you. I didn't even talk about this card yet. I'm sorry. This Fool card says that you already know what you want. And you already are divinely guided. You don't let that fool be strung up. Don't let that. Let that fool be the boss. You know what you want. You know where you want to go. You know how you want to do things. And don't forget what you want. Don't forget the things that are important to you, Cancer. Don't let other people make you think that they're coming in now and they're going to tell you what to do. Because they're not. Because even in the physical world, if they seem like they do control you, they don't control your mind. And you understand now that if you can get your thoughts right, those thoughts are going to get on the back of this symbolic crayfish and become a reality. So don't let them do your thinking for you. You do your own thinking, and you shut down any negative thinking that you have about yourself or your life, and you get busy getting your foot put down, and don't worry about whether people like you and other people are happy. That's not your job. Your job is to be happy yourself and to be successful in whatever way is most meaningful for you. And you already know what you want. And that's what's sacred. And you're going to do great. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I so appreciate you. We'll see you in 2 weeks for another reading, Cancer. Until then, blessed be.